Well, hello again, everybody, and welcome to another vlog. And today, I'm wanting to talk about something that I didn't want one of my subscribers and online friends to think I had forgot about. But that's Dave, Guernsey Dave, GD Gamer. He left a comment for me a while back wanting me to talk about my favorite superhero or superheroes. Now, for the sake of this video, I put on something that I didn't think I would ever be wearing for any reason. So I'm going to stand up to try to show this off a little bit. This is a Superman cape. Not sure how well the symbol is coming across there. I don't think I'm going to be able to get too close to try to show off the... well, I can take this off because this is about choking me to death here. This is the Superman cape. I'll explain here in a moment where I got it from. But there's the S that's on it. Alright. Done my best to try to show it. But anyway, I got that cape last summer, for winning a contest at the Walmart that I worked at, for being the person who sold the most pre-order tickets or pre-purchase tickets to see the new Man of Steel movie, which I saw and I thought was a pretty good movie. Very nice new reimagining of Superman, even though I'm still a guy who's a little steamed under the collar for them stopping the Brandon Routh Superman series, which I felt like should have continued on. But I'm partial to Ralph as an actor for reasons I'll get into maybe some other day. But this new one, and the new guy, Henry Cavill, he was in The Immortals. It's the only thing I'd seen him in before Man of Steel. He did a really good job. The movie was well done. I liked it. But anyway, we had a contest, and Walmart had some sort of a special promotion. Walmart was going to be the only retailer where you could buy tickets to see the movie on the Thursday before it opened on a Friday. And you couldn't even go to the box office and get the tickets there at the box office. You had to buy them at a Walmart. And we had a stockpile of them. All the stores around our area got a certain amount of them. And whoever sold the most number of tickets for that event won a free ticket, which is funny because I didn't have any intention on winning or even really trying to compete. So I bought my own ticket like the first day that they went on sale. And then it ended up being that I sold the most tickets in my department, won another ticket, and gave it to a friend of mine. And then the icing on the cake was I won the cape that was a part of the promotional packaging. It's like, Walmart's really weird. Like, they tell you can't wear certain things, you can't get certain things from vendors or reps. Like, you can't have buttons and lanyards and this and that. It's considered a gratuity. But then they'll have something like this where they say you can wear this cape while you're at work, and then they even give it away as a part of a contest. It's a little weird to me. But anyway, so that was a thing. I won that. It's pretty cool. I mean, I like having it, but I don't really know what my intention to do with it is. If I was rich and had a nice house, then I might have a really cool stoic-looking mannequin with that on in a Superman suit. But otherwise, for now, I just keep it in the drawer to keep it from getting dusty and exposed to things. But anyway, all that long-winded anecdote about a Superman thing, just for me to say that as much as I like Superman, he's not my favorite. Oh, and I wanted to point out something too. This is going to be a vlog about my favorite mainstream or popular superhero or heroes. And at some point, I wanted to do an actual video about my favorite comic book and the characters from it, because I would consider characters from that, and one particular as my favorite superhero. But that'll be for another video. Right now I'm going to focus on the big hitters from like DC, Marvel, and Image. Because in general, I don't really know all that much about most comics. I'm like everybody else. I know who Spider-Man is. I know who Batman is. I know who the X-Men are. And you should be able to, see the connection between all of those. Those are characters that have all had major motion picture releases in the last 20 or 30 years. Supes, Batman, Spider-Man, the X-Men, Avengers, Iron Man, Hulk, all those characters and many more have had so many movies released for them since, the 80s, that it's kind of hard, especially as a person who likes to watch a lot of movies. It'd be kind of hard to imagine that a person hasn't seen those and doesn't know who they are. But I'm not a comic book nut, so I don't really know a lot of the storylines. I don't know a lot of like some of the lesser known characters, comic book characters, superheroes and villains. I just don't know them like some people do. What I do know is that I have loved all the movies for like Superman, Batman, both the first movies of the first four, including the cheesy third and fourth ones, as well as the newer Nolan trilogy. I love the X-Men movies, all of them, these newer ones, the original ones, all of them. I didn't have any of them that I didn't like. The Spider-Man movies, although I prefer the Tobey Maguire trilogy, I still enjoy the Andrew Garfield ones. The Avengers and all the movies for those, even though I was so anti-Captain America and Thor, like I just didn't like either one of those characters prior to seeing their movies and then seeing the Avengers. Once I did see their movies and the Avengers, I was like, yeah, I really like these characters. Iron Man would still be my favorite out of all the Avengers, the entire group. Iron Man would be my favorite. That's probably a Robert Downey Jr. thing, but that's my thought on that. So the new Superman, good. Spider-Man, great. X-Men's great. Avengers, great. Iron Man, all that kind of stuff. But I guess I'm probably going to have to go with what a lot of people would peg down as their favorite comic book superhero or whatever, and that's Batman. I don't know, there's just something really cool and mysterious about Batman. All the characters that I've ever really liked, and especially the character that I kind of created myself in kind of a fan fiction-y kind of way to insert into the comic book that is my favorite. They've always been kind of the dark, brooding, troubled, loner types. If I ever get a chance to, like, if I ever decide to sit down and talk about the character that I created after I cover the aforementioned, or the comic book that I really, really love the most, but that's my favorite. It has my favorite comic book, superheroes in it. After I talk about that in a future video, then I may sit down and talk about the character that I created for it. I've even written a little fan fiction stuff for it, but I don't want to share too much of that here because I don't know how the fan fiction stuff works. I don't want people trying to say I'm claiming that I own any part of it or whatever. But anyway, as usual, I'm going way off the tracks. I love the characters that are dark, mysterious, the ones that have the troubled past, the ones that feel detached from everything. I don't know, maybe, I don't really know why I like all this stuff. If you haven't watched any of my videos, you may be thinking the same thing, but if you have, you can probably figure out why I relate to those kinds of characters. And Batman is that way. He's tragic past, although he's got some aspects to him that I wouldn't want, or, well, one aspect of him that I wouldn't aspire to is as far as casting myself into a superhero role. I'd want to have powers and abilities. He's just a guy who has amazing human abilities and resources and all that. And you know, the past that fires his passions to be, you know, a good guy, so to speak. But then there's something that he has that I would love to have that I don't, and that's I'd love to be a billionaire playboy away from being the superhero. But anyway, that's just the kind of character that I'm drawn to, so that's why I like Batman. If we were going to say the mainstream superheroes, the heavy hitters from Marvel, DC, and even Image Comics, because I think of characters like Spawn and whatnot that are really popular through them, I would have to pick Batman. That would be my choice, pretty much hands down. Avengers as a group, X-Men as a group, Spider-Man would probably be a slight level below, and then characters like Superman and whatnot would be a slight level below that. There really isn't any superhero that I can think of that I absolutely hate and despise. But good Lord, if you ever collected, like I just did the comic book collecting thing for a couple of years in the late 90s, and even back then it was very evident. Get yourself one of those comic book like price guides. Those things are like, you know, like a phone book. They're so thick. There's so many comic books, so many different companies that print them, so many different characters, and then so many different lines for different characters. You know, the X-Men has multiple lines, and Spider-Man had different lines. You got future versions, alternate versions, one-offs, all these side arcs that have nothing to do with like canon story. It's crazy, and I think that's what's distanced me from collecting comic books any more than I have, or you know, for that period of time that I did. Because even focusing on this one, actually there were two comic book lines that I was really into, but the one that was the main, even focusing on that, I realized that there were so many books that I had to try to track down. And I have quite a few, but I certainly don't have anywhere close to a full collection. But I'm saving that for a future video. I'd love to do that now, but those comic books are in my bedroom, and there's boxes filled with like Hot Wheels and all different kinds of collectibles and things that I'm into, and it's just, they're too hard to get to right now until I have a chance to do some organizing. So, but that's for a future video, and I think that's a good time for me to wrap this one up. So there's your question answered, Dave. If I had to pick a favorite superhero or comic book character from at least the mainstream that everybody knows about, I'd pick Batman. But stay tuned for the future where I'm going to show off my favorite comic book and my favorite characters from it, and some other comic books that are kind of revolve around that. That'll be sometime in the future, hopefully not too long. So anyway, thanks for watching.